I didn't cry. Not one tear. When my daughter told me, no, emailed me, that I wasn't invited to her wedding, something inside me didn't break. It went quiet. Like the moment after glass shatters and the world holds its breath. My name's Helen Porter. I'm 59, a widow, and for most of my life, my purpose has been simple. Keep my kids safe, keep them fed, keep them from ever knowing the kind of hunger and fear I grew up with. And for 30 years, I did exactly that. Double shifts, canceled vacations, wearing the same winter coat for 10 years so Emily could go to her dream college, so Luke could buy his first house. But that morning, that email, it was as if every sacrifice I had ever made got weighed and measured, and I came up short. The subject line was blank. Just her name. Inside, Mom. After a lot of discussion, Andrew's parents decided to keep the wedding small. We think it's best if you watch online. Should be just like being there. LOL. I stared at those 3 letters until my coffee went cold. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I typed 4 words. Sure. Enjoy your day. Then I closed the laptop, got dressed, and drove to work like it was any other Tuesday. But it wasn't. It was the first day of my new life. I just didn't know it. Why at the office. My boss dropped a cappuccino on my desk and said I looked like I'd seen a ghost. If only he knew. By lunchtime, the calls started coming in. Emily's name flashing like a siren on my phone. Voicemails, texts, all urgent, all panicked. I didn't answer. For once, I let the silence do the talking. And when the workday ended, I didn't drive home. I drove to the bank. Cancel the transfer. I told the manager. He blinked. The full amount? Yes, every penny.
$52,000.
That was on top of the $30,000 I had already given her. $80,000. For a wedding I wasn't allowed to attend. When I walked out of that bank, I swear the air felt different. Like I could breathe again. By the time I got home, there were 9 missed calls from Emily, 2 from Luke. One voicemail simply said, Mom, please don't do this. But I had already done it. I poured myself a glass of wine I'd been saving for Thanksgiving and sat on the porch as the sun went down. And then the memories came. The bills spread across the counter after my husband died. The birthdays I spent alone because I was too tired from work. The shoes I never bought. The trips I never took. And something inside me hardened. Not with anger, but with clarity. I wasn't just excluded from her wedding. I had been excluded from her life for years. Only called upon when I was needed. Never when I was wanted. That night, Luke came over. He said I was being dramatic. That Emily was under pressure. That Andrew's parents were traditional. I told him tradition doesn't cost $80,000. When he said I was making everything about myself, something inside me snapped, softly, but completely. Get out. I told him, and when he left, I didn't feel guilt. I felt free. The next morning, my phone was full of messages from Emily. First guilt, then desperation. The venue was threatening to cancel. The caterer was pulling out. Andrew's parents were furious. And still, there was no apology. Just negotiations. I ignored them all. Days later, Emily's childhood best friend, Sophie, showed up on my porch. She told me Emily was falling apart, that she knew she'd gone too far. Then she asked the question I think even Emily was too afraid to ask. Is there anything she can say to make this right? I thought about it for a long time before I answered. No, I said. There isn't. Because sometimes love isn't about giving more. Sometimes it's about finally stopping. Emily's wedding didn't happen. Not the Napa Valley spectacle she planned. Anyway, they ended up having a backyard ceremony with a handful of relatives. I wasn't invited. And for the first time, I didn't need to be. I've started living again. Pottery class on Thursdays. Long walks after dinner. Lunches with people who see me, not just what I can give them. I've learned something I wish I'd learned years ago. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. If you've ever felt invisible to the people you love most, tell me in the comments. Because sometimes the strongest kind of love is the kind you finally give to yourself.